Two will enter, one will win. Welcome to the fight. Welcome to the knockout.
I love watching that. So welcome everyone who comes in. Welcome everyone. I got my special guest, Superpower Review. You know that he's been kind enough to join me for episode 3 of the Knockout, Batman versus the Punisher. I have to say, I've actually been looking forward to this one a lot more than I have the other two, just because there's just something about the two of them. You know, they're almost like the same kind of person in a way, you know, just the similarities that are there. So it just seems like so much fun. So just welcome, you know, Kevin, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me. I thought you were going to be mostly excited for this episode just because you had me on. No, I kidding.
Oh, I forgot to say. Oh, and because I was having him on. Sorry, I can't read my own writing. Sorry, he just faxed me the script earlier. I was supposed to read my, you know, I'm so glad to have you on. And so, all right. So,
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. You know, I look forward to it. This is the second time I've kind of been surprised at the side someone wanted to argue, and I've been arguing the underdog or the other side, you know, because so I've just been really looking forward to thought people might like Punisher more than Batman or whatever, want to argue that, and so okay, I'll stick with Batman, but whatever is the case. So as usual, you know, guest gets to open up the opening statements, and I'll make my opening statement, then we'll get into the down and dirty fight. So I will give you the full screen and we'll have at it. So let's begin.
All right. So as you can clearly see, I am wearing the Batman shirt, which means I'm on Batman's side. I mean, come on, Batman versus the Punisher. Think about it really, really hard. How many times have you seen Batman go up against a gunman, okay, or gone up against somebody? If you wanted to compare the Punisher to anybody in the DC universe, you got people like Deathstroke, you've got people like the Red Hood, and Batman takes these people out. I mean, I will give it to you that Deathstroke has beaten Batman a good handful amount of times, okay? But Deathstroke also has a healing factor, okay? Punisher does not. Punisher is a regular human being just like Batman, but Batman, I feel like, is a lot better trained than the Punisher. He's disciplined, he knows his gadgets well, and he knows his tech very well, and he's more controlled and precise than the Punisher. The Punisher just kills, which makes him, you know, not a very justly character. Obviously, Batman is, okay? Punisher kills, Batman maims.
All right. We'll see how it is. All right. As usual, I'm going to argue the Punisher. Now, there's a lot of similarities between the two characters here, but you know, Punisher here has his own, you know, background story. You know, he lost his family. He's a decorated Marine. He's highly skilled in hand-to-hand combat, very expertly skilled in his, you know, large weapons, you know, guns of all kinds. He's just very excellent military strategist. But my argument here is going to focus mainly on two things here, or a lesser extent to this one, that yes, Batman has gone up against a lot of people with guns, but they were not people like the Punisher every single time. Most of the time, it's just common street criminals with guns. You know, people who don't really have the best accuracy. You know, more like, you know, there's so shadow over there, let's go shoot it. You know, not very accurate or intelligent, and it's just easy enough to diversify, you know, spread them out or take them out. So, but probably the second most important thing in my argument here is Batman and his code. He's going to be fighting the whole fight with an arm tied behind his back. He is limited in a way that the Punisher is not. He does not kill. He beats up and he takes people captive, you know, to put them in jail, but he does not go for the blood. Punisher does, and but he doesn't kill innocents. He only kills the criminal. Small ray of light, yes, but still is important distinction. But he goes after them. And Batman, he has no code like that for Batman. So I lost what I thought I was going to say. So Batman just is handicapped, hands down, whereas the Punisher will go full force from the get-go. He has only one mission and one goal. If he feels Batman is a criminal, Batman's ending up in the ground one way or the other. Case closed, in my opinion. All right. What do you have to say about that, Mr. Batman?
I just disagree what you say, because you said in the past he fights people. Batman, like I mentioned that Batman fights people like Deathstroke and Red Hood, and you go, well, he's faced people like him, and I would see, if I had to rank or give a tier to those three characters, meaning Deathstroke, Red Hood, and Punisher, I just ranked them right there, and Punisher would be dead last. Because if you really think about it too, okay, Batman has taken on the Red Hood, especially when he was fresh out of the Lazarus Pit. And the Lazarus Pit gives you powers. It gives you superhuman strength. So Batman has beat people like Red Hood, who was rebirthed from the Lazarus Pit, and Ra's al Ghul. So there is still really no match here. There's yet again just two human beings, Batman and the Punisher. And I don't think Punisher really has it in him. Batman would already know his enemy, and I know this is we all Batman fans say this all the time. We get crap for this, but Batman would have his prep. He would know exactly what the Punisher would do. He would know how the Punisher would react, and he would just pretty much know what to do and how to handle Frank Castle and put him where he belongs in the Arkham Asylum, because that guy is crazy for mass killing people.
Yeah, well, Punisher can go toe to toe too. He's an excellent military strategist. You don't think a military man, a decorated Marine, wouldn't study his enemy as well? I mean, after all, you say maybe one of Batman's other downfalls might be necessarily his prep, because he has detailed plans to bring down each member of the most powerful beings in the world, the Justice League. He has backed up plans to bring down everyone in case one went rogue. Do you not think that he might have something for himself?
No, I don't think he would have a strategy for Batman, because Batman is not going to be a target for Frank Castle, because Batman is not someone in Frank Castle's roster to go after, if you know what I mean. Batman is a vigilante, but he's not killing. He's not doing harm to other people. He's doing harm to other people like the Punisher, but I don't feel like that the Punisher or Batman has done enough for the Punisher to go after Batman, but Batman has enough to go after the Punisher of what he does by killing people.
I can disagree there too, because in one of the crossovers they had, when Punisher was about to kill the Joker and Batman stepped in the middle of him, he said, and I quote, "Joker, run." This guy who's killing other people, he's letting him go. So don't you think that he would view the person letting go of a criminal, a murderer, as like an associate? When you don't do the actual crime, but you witness it and you do nothing to stop it or whatever, he's whatever that term is, but he's just basically condoning it by not stopping, Joker then and there. At least not killing him, but he didn't stop him from running away. So now for any more deaths that happen, is completely on Batman's hands. So that could be viewed as justification there and going after. How many times do you let a bad guy send him off to jail instead of in the grave? Any people that get hurt as a result of them breaking out, it's on your hands.
Maybe Batman was just like, yeah, we'll see what happens. Joker, hey, I'm telling you right now, this guy's going to kill you. If you don't run, you're going to end up dead. And just Batman's pretty much, you know what? Let somebody else deal with it. But I really don't. What book is that, by the way? I don't think I've ever heard that book.
It was one of the crossovers, because I think they did like a Marvel. They both like a DC published and a Marvel published, between like Batman and the Punisher. There is a story, and I looked at it and read it as research and all that. But yeah, it was one of the things there. He was returning to Gotham for some reason, and I'm not sure, I can't remember exactly the whole intertwine between them, but he was going to kill the Joker, and Batman got in the way. So
I didn't know about that. I gotta find that. I gotta read that.
as evidence that the defense counsel was ill prepared, it should reflect in his argument. So yeah. Anyway, but yeah, the Punisher is just as maybe in a hand-to-hand combat. Ultimately, yeah, Batman might come out overhead, but the Punisher is not going to fight fairly hand-to-hand. He's going to use every arsenal he can. And we already distinguished that he does kill. So why doesn't he, like, say he could set traps in Gotham with criminals that he would kill, as in the vigilante style, as bait? Batman in his moral code would want to save them, criminal or not. And so he'd be luring Batman into a trap that he could spring, or snipe from a distance.
So are you saying that the only reason why the Punisher would go after Batman is because he is stopping the Punisher from not taking out bad people?
No, but I'm just that's the argument I used to when you brought that up, because hypothetically, the argument is Batman versus the Punisher, and you threw a wrench in there, so I had to justify why he was going after him.
I mean, I will agree with you that Frank Castle definitely has his military strategies to him, and he is definitely a tough dude. And yeah, I'm definitely saying too that Frank Castle would definitely get a couple of licks in on Batman, and maybe even a couple of bullet holes. But I'm just saying that Batman is so used to this for his everyday, pretty much, especially like those two villains that I brought up that Batman's very, very familiar with. And I just feel like that, I'm not saying that he would take him out easily, but I just know for a fact that if it were to come down to the end, Batman would stay on top, and then you would see Frank Castle at Arkham Asylum. Bam, bing, bang, boom, done.
Yeah, maybe so. But like I said, my biggest argument, the biggest downfall, like I said, if you've seen this, someone's biggest strength is their biggest weakness. Batman. How is Batman supposed to overcome the Punisher when he can basically go to war with no mercy and blood as the intent, whereas Batman has that line he will not cross. How is he supposed to overcome that deficit? There's some sort of like the Sun Tzu of know your enemy quote or whatever, and by him not willing to take a life, he's limited in what he can do. He cannot go all out when all the options are on the table.
Look at you, man. I was very proud with the Sun Tzu quote. That was very nice, especially coming from a martial arts background.
Yeah. Well, don't be too impressed. I can't remember the entire quote, just the know your enemy thing. It came to me in a fit of inspiration today. I went, Sun Tzu, I can use that.
Yeah, there you go. Which I'm sure Batman knows Sun Tzu very well. Not that would help against the Punisher, but
yeah. Because, like I said, it's Batman might know more martial arts. He might know more. He might know, more. Like I said, more skilled hand-to-hand combat. But in the end, it's ultimately, bringing a gun to the knife fight. I mean, look at see if I can bring it up here.
At least, when you brought up the martial arts aspect, we're talking at least 24 different martial arts styles that Batman has underneath his belt, while Frank Castle maybe just has military training in his background. That's True. About it. So,
but Batman over here with his martial arts is basically this guy with a sword, all fancy, and we saw how that ended up for him. A gun to a knife fight.
That guy did not have smoke pellets.
Oh, only for smoke pellets. Yeah,
I have
like
to
you,
go with
like
that.
you couldn't see you were there for 1 second ago. So I'm just saying. So, but yeah, plus he, no, Batman, like I said, Punisher's hit Spider-Man. Someone who can actually sense things coming like that. If he can hit someone with literal superhuman abilities, what chance does a mere mortal have, no matter how highly trained his reflexes are?
Like I said, Frank Castle would definitely get a couple of good licks in, but come on, we're talking about Batman. We're talking about the man who took out the Man of Steel here, okay? I mean, if he can take out the Man of Steel who's not born of this earth, who has superpowers, and then we're just taking the Punisher, this is a piece of cake for Batman. And let's also note too that when Batman beat up Superman, he was already an old fart, man. You know what I mean? We're talking about the Batman that we know, okay, in his prime.
Yeah, he's very tough. He picked on the guy's allergies. Very, very, very tough.
And this is what both of these characters have on them. They're both very, very sneaky characters, and they will fight dirty. Both of them would fight very, very dirty, of course.
Yeah, and like I said, the edge has to go to the man who's willing to go just a hair farther. It's that simple.
I don't know. All right, if okay, let's say this, okay? If the Punisher, okay, was to defeat Batman, you think he would kill him?
That's what he is. If he viewed Batman as an enemy, or an enemy, a criminal, which he could be technically viewed as a vigilante, just like Frank Castle himself. If he viewed Batman as a criminal, he let him for whatever crime, the same reason that he went after Spider-Man, or was convinced by the Jackal to go after Spider-Man, he would go after Batman to kill.
Okay, so if you were to kill Batman, okay, how would you think Frank Castle would go about doing that?
Like I said, I would I would use, like I said, I know my enemy. This guy is a master martial artist, hand-to-hand combat, and he also would not kill, kind of a thing. So the best bet would probably most likely be from a distance, sniper rifle kind of a thing. But like I said, and I did my other argument here, maybe luring somehow, going after other criminals here to make his presence known, make him a target to Batman, and then use these other criminals that he kidnapped, as hostages, kind of sort of like in The Dark Knight with Harvey Dent and Rachel in the movie, that Batman.
Rachel.
Maybe not by dividing him up, but basically forcing him to save lives and all that, and trying to save lives, even of criminals, to going after them. Now Batman, knowing might be aware, or might have sixth sense what's going on, sensing wires or whatever, but enough explosives, enough guns, enough whatever, that all it takes is one shot. Batman might be able to survive 1,000 bullets and 20 landmines going off, but all it takes is one to actually do him in. So all it does is, like I said, you play in his own moral code against him. That's what Punisher might have his own code, but it does not stop. But does not stop at "Thou shalt not kill." So
I think you're onto something about using Batman's moral against him.
Mm-hmm.
I think he would try to go for that, but I don't know. I just think that maybe Punisher would go after Batman if Batman were continuously stopping. I mean, like look at, okay, let's use this example for instance. How many times has Punisher killed Daredevil?
that I'm not aware of. I'm not, like I said, the only person I could argue very thoroughly was Spider-Man in the first episode. Otherwise, if I haven't researched it, I might not have missed ever.
He has never killed Daredevil, and if you think about it, Daredevil and Batman are very much the same. Other besides Daredevil has superpowers and Batman doesn't, but they're very much the same. Where they they're fighting for the good, and we've never seen Daredevil kill Punisher. I'm sorry, we've never seen Punisher kill Daredevil. So I think this is kind of going hand in hand with everything that I mean, we've seen Daredevil and Punisher fight, you know what I mean? And they both have walked away with, bruises and maybe a couple of broken bones. But I don't think it's in Frank Castle to maybe kill Batman. But I think if he were to win, I think he would keep Batman alive, because again, Batman is he's on the good side, and so like I feel like Frank Castle would respect the fact that Batman's doing good and wouldn't see him too much of an enemy to kill him off.
Okay. Well, I will give you I'll give you that argument that he might not kill him if he hasn't killed Daredevil in the past. But I would you could still argue that way, that he could use other people to lure him into trap. He still can go further, even if he admires Batman in the abstract sense, but still wants to get him off the street or to stop him from doing whatever he's doing. He can still go that step farther, just because of his mentality and what he's willing to do. Like I said. Plus what he can do solo. He's joined a few teams in the past that I've read about, but he's mainly a solo person. Whereas Batman seems to ever since Robin, always seems to have somebody with him. He's either a member of the Justice League, or he has Robin or Batgirl, but he doesn't seem to be as by himself anymore. It takes a certain more level of skill to go solo without any help, because you have no one.
Batman does have a lot of help. That's true. Batman does have a lot of help. Frank Castle is mostly on his, mostly alone most of the time, but he does have microchip. But that is still a lot less than what Batman has for aides. You know what I mean? Batman has Alfred. Batman has Lucius Fox, and he has Oracle and his Robins. But again, Frank, like you said, Frank Castle does have just himself, or maybe microchip.
Yeah. Let's see. I had something else. I thought I had something else, but I think I might have. Since you haven't made certain arguments, I haven't had certain responses. So I was like, well, I'm like, damn it, I have stuff I can use. I'm not, But yeah. Ultimately, like I said, it's gonna be a long, drawn out, hard fought, very tough. It can go either way, but I do think that Punisher has the longer lasting mentality. Like I said, if this comes down to a matter of time, it's going to be the Punisher who comes out ahead, because he has a high pain tolerance. His methods that he can use, his weapons, the things he can do and set up like traps. He has a greater range of mobility and what he can do. That time would be on his side. If this was basically a fight that you wanted to end sooner rather than later, Batman might come out ahead. But like I said, if he can keep Batman at a distance, he can't take down the Punisher.
I mean, we all have to take account of the intelligence of these characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, how well they take pain, and then we also have to think about these two characters' endurance too. Who's in better health? And I would have to give Batman the edge on this. I think Batman would be in much better condition than the Punisher. I'm not sure about that. I mean, yeah. Batman doesn't take, doesn't drink any alcohol. He doesn't smoke and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I think Batman. I think Batman works more on himself than the Punisher would.
Yeah. Well, like I said, yeah, I do agree with you that in terms of hand-to-hand combat, Batman would come out ahead eventually, because he knows more martial arts. He has probably more endurance and more training. And the fact that research he can change up in mid-fight or whatever and to throw his opponent off. But he also has, like I said, has to close that gap. Punisher has ways to keep Batman at a distance, through his military training, through his knowledge and his technology. But like I said, if this were come down to it, like I said, know your enemy. If he knows Batman's out every night, taking down villains, and he is gonna not just take him alive, but go for that killing shot, all you have to do is be like a regular trained army sniper that lies there for hours and hours and hours for that perfect shot, and then one shot, Batman's down.
I don't think Frank Castle would do it that way, though. I think that would be too cowardly for Frank Castle. I think Frank Castle would be crazy enough that if he really wanted Batman, he would really want to fight Batman and say, like, hey, I did it. I beat that man. I beat that man that everybody was so afraid of. I really don't think he would take the whole sniper route. I mean, we have, and this is, again, coming into characters that Batman is used to. Okay, here is another character. We have Deadshot. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's something that's another character that Batman deals with that is very similar to Frank Castle. We've never seen Deadshot kill Batman, so.
Yeah, well, I heard that they had some sort of he had some sort of respect for Batman. I didn't know the whole story, but yeah. But like I said, that might be true that he might not choose to go out that way, and that might very well be his undoing, that he chooses a more personal, touch. He might do things, looking Batman in the eye. But like I said, it still can do things from a distance. All it takes is one shot. And
yeah,
Batman might be in peak physical health, but so is Castle. He is both. He's still trained. He is like a U.S. Marine Special Forces. Those guys are not wimps.
No, they're not. Just to continue on the show, I do think that Batman would be. I still think that Batman would be in better shape than Frank Castle. If you could, I didn't get to read that comment. What did Discovery Bay say there?
He said Batman is in peak physical shape. The Punisher is a drunk.
I want to say that the Punisher is a drunk, but I mean, Frank Castle definitely likes his drink way more than Batman does. That's pretty much what I was getting at.
He drinks the blood of his victims. Those too weak to fight.
Now he's just turning into Vlad the Impaler here.
Hey, like I said, history of the powerful people had a little bit of bloodshed. Just saying. Well, it wasn't Vlad the martial artist who kicked the crap out of the people he didn't like.
And then let's also take in account too, like I said in the beginning of the show too, of the tech that Batman has. I mean, all Frank Castle has is high-powered weapons, pistols. He has knives. He has sharp weapons. And Batman has different tech. Batman, of course, being Bruce Wayne, has more money than Frank Castle does, and is able to have higher tech and higher tech weapons that are probably way more powerful and efficient than Frank Castle. Maybe not more powerful, but maybe more efficient and effective. Maybe
too. But I don't think he wouldn't bring out his most powerful things. I don't think too popular of an area, because he wouldn't want collateral damage, both maybe in businesses, but especially with people. Like I said, his code would hold him back. Maybe he might design more proficient weapons so that won't be an issue. But also, you don't underestimate a man with just a simple weapons who knows how to use them very efficiently. Like I said, it doesn't take a bulletproof or a bulletproof what is that term? Armor-piercing round. There you go. It doesn't take an armor-piercing round to bring down a deer. It just takes a simple bullet. So, and plus, Batman might have a very tough built suit that can withstand things like that, but he also has a
certain things
exposed target.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure Batman, and this is another thing to bring up too. Like you said, Batman has armor. Again, this is coming into terms with how much money Bruce Wayne has and how much money he can dump into having well-tech armor to protect himself. Frank Castle is probably just going to have a bulletproof vest on. and we all know that Frank Castle does not have a helmet when he's fighting, so his head is exposed. I mean, Batman, like you said, this area is open, but I mean, we've seen in movies that Batman could have an armored cowl. We've seen that in Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice, where he's fighting those guys at that mill, and one of the guys comes right behind him and shoots him in the pistol, and the bullet sparks off, and Batman's still going. He's still taking people out. You know what I mean? So, this is I don't know. I think Batman is again going to be well more equipped because Batman doesn't want to take the armor, and this is kind of like what's the word what I'm going to be looking for? I'm not. I guess the word stubborn isn't the right one, but it's along the right lines. But Frank Castle would not wear so much armor like Batman would. He would probably again have a bulletproof vest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's what technically I hear. I read my research, but also, have you ever watched the show? It was years ago called The Deadliest Warrior.
Yes, I used to love that show.
Yeah, there was times when they had explosives on the show, and then like I said, explosives being part of a military guy, like Punisher could use. It doesn't take shrapnel or arm piercing metal to do this. Concussion waves and blasts can kill just as effectively, and I think they either go through or the way it hits or whatever. So Batman might be able to withstand the bullets and the shrapnel fly in his direction, but if his ass gets kicked far enough back or hit far enough force, it doesn't. He can be killed, or at the very minimal, wobbly off his game to where a quick man, smart man, could come in and take him out.
Very true. But I feel like that would be along the same lines as what you said when, Punisher could take him out with a rifle from long distance, and I think that would be the same thing. I think to your methods, or looking at what the Punisher would do, maybe Frank Castle would use an explosive to really loosen up Batman. Or like open up a gap. I would give you that. I think Frank Castle would definitely open the fight with that. Trap Batman like you said. Use an explosive, not to kill Batman, but definitely to knock Batman on his butt and to maybe kind of have him in a daze. You know what I mean? Where he could get the upper hand. I will give you that. I will.
Batman, you're too stressed. Loosen up with some C4.
Yeah, right. So I will give you that. I think, and I'll give you the edge too, that Frank Castle would definitely be more lenient, or I shouldn't say lenient. I think Frank Castle would be, out of the two characters, most likely to use explosives than Batman, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I'm about ready to wrap up my argument. If you're ready to wrap up yours, or do you want to continue going on for a little bit more?
I mean, we can do whatever. We can do it now, or we can talk a little bit more. But I think the audience maybe be ready to vote on this maybe after hearing what we said. And I don't know. I think we've already put everything on the table. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, just so you know, I'm counting the votes in Discovery's episode earlier today when I counted 33 votes for the Punisher.
None for Batman.
Blasphemy there. No, there was a few Batman, but I'm counting the Punishers.
Oh, that's not fair.
Well, it wasn't part of the Punisher's code. I'm just saying. But yeah, let's go and wrap it up, and we can always talk a little bit more as the chat's voting. So I'll let you have the full screen, and you can wrap up your argument on why you think Batman's going to win.
All right. So this is easy peasy, guys. Batman has dealt with kooks like the Punisher. I mean, we have characters, like I said, we have Deathstroke, we have the Red Hood, we have Deadshot. Batman has taken these characters out with ease, and they're very much the same as the Punisher. Okay, they're maybe these characters are even a little bit higher than the Punisher. I think the Red Hood could maybe even take on the Punisher. Who knows? Maybe. I don't know. That's a close one. But like I said, Batman would overcome this fight. He would have a strategic plan to how to defeat the Punisher to a T already. Not mentioning his backup plans that Batman would have too. Batman is in better shape than Frank Castle. Batman has better tech and better armor than Frank Castle, and he would just take Frank Castle down, bring him to Arkham Asylum like he does with the rest of his, criminals and bad guys. And again, I'm not saying that Frank Castle, wouldn't get a couple of hits in. I think Frank Castle would definitely give Batman a run for his money, but Batman would be the top victor here, and he's Batman. Like I said, he took out Superman, and we're going to compare Superman to the Punisher. No, Batman has this all day.
Thank you. Well, like I said, the Punisher is physically trained just as much as Batman. Not Batman is. Batman might have the edge in how hard he trains and how many martial arts he knows. And yes, he might be the world's greatest detective, but also for the Punisher, Frank Castle, in going after Batman would be going to war. You're not playing patty cake with Batman. You're trying to take him out for whatever reason, or bring him down, whatever that entails, whether it's to kill or not. Batman might have, have the suit and all that. He might, like I said, but we're not playing. Punisher doesn't have to play fair. Batman is handicapped by his moral code. He will not kill. So whether or not the Punisher kills, he is not held back by the same limitations that Batman is. And Batman, whereas Batman, yes, is bring time and time again, taking the Joker, Mr. Freeze, Poison Ivy, everyone to Arkham Asylum. But if we were going out to kill for whatever reason that the Punisher view Batman is that, all he does is have to be successful once. Batman, I think, because there's a quote, Batman has to be successful every single time. The Punisher only has to get lucky once. It's a quote or description, I think, by like Jesse James, I think, or someone like that, talking about banks and robberies. But anyway, like I said, Batman is handicapped by his moral code. He might win in the short term, but if this is dragged out long enough or over a distance, the Punisher has it. Like I said, he can set a trap for Batman, knowing his enemy. He can have people he would kill anyway because they're criminals, luring them into a trap, Batman into a trap, because Batman, in a sense of morality, has to save them. And all it does is one explosion, one bullet, one concussion wave, and Batman can be killed, or at least disabled and slowed down enough to where he can be taken out. So, in a time, like I said, they're roughly equal, and the fight can go either way depending on the day. But like I said, ultimately, the Punisher has more chances and more options to get things done. And that's why I think that in this argument, the Punisher would win against Batman. So thank you. Now, gonna hit that. Gonna say vote now, and cast your votes on who would win, Batman or Punisher. And I apologize for my cat. He heard that
it's Batman all day.
He heard that people like Batman, so he's very upset. It's Batman versus the Punisher. So, but yeah, like I said, this is a hero versus an anti-hero kind of a
Who
thing.
She got? I want to know what she thinks.
Oh, she supports me.
Oh, okay, yeah, true. All right, yeah, good answer. Batman. Good answer. Batman. Oh.
Don't be too smug. She voted against me and the other one as well.
Take him out.
Anyway, so
didn't ask you.
Come on, JV. I know you have an opinion out there.
I only said Batman because I have no idea who the Punisher is.
All right. So we got one vote for Batman.
One vote? That's
one
it?
One vote so far from BLC.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, fine. 2 if you count the misses, but who does?
Wait, do I get to vote?
we can vote, but right, yeah, you can vote. Because
obviously Batman.
technically it's tied up. It's one vote Punisher, one vote Batman. If you want, kind of a thing. So I have to support my guy, or I'm,
Right.
So
You gotta tell me who the Punisher is later.
Punisher is basically is as trained and as smart as Batman, except the Punisher uses guns. And kills criminals. So.
But guns are pussy weapons, so therefore Batman all the way.
Wow.
What can I say? I get no support at home.
Oh no.
I get no support and no love at home. So
By the way, what would you like for dinner?
it doesn't matter right now.
And if the dogs get fed.
Ask Sandra.
Okay.
So,
Couldn't do it.
all right. Well, if we ended this now, Batman wins because he has 1, 2, 3.
Woohoo, Batman!
You don't get 2 of those for saying it again. So I had a feeling it would be Batman who'd have more, who'd get more support because people seem to like him for some reason.
I think there definitely is more of a fan base for Batman than Punisher, I believe.
Yeah, Bear Island came in with Batman, so that's cool. Well, it looks like Batman will carry the day. Will you feel up to coming back to do another round? Because the way I set up like a bracket thing with a thing, so if Batman moves forward, Batman has to represent whoever wins.
Okay, sure. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and so I come up with, I thought of doing a prize for whoever wins, or or if I'm in the final round arguing a side, I obviously will not give myself a prize, so I'll give the prize to second place, regardless of who wins. But I was thinking like a $50 eBay card or something like that, or something you can buy a comic book at your prize kind of a thing, since I don't really want to give up any of my books unless I pick a Batman book as a prize. Since obviously he's just
I don't want this.
I don't want the Batman. Are you kidding me? He won because he threw rocks at Superman. I mean, talk about a pussy weapon.
Wow.
He threw rocks at a guy. That's very unsportsmanlike. Just saying. So much for his code. I'm Adam T.
Womp.
Keep looking at it like it's Thor in Doctor Strange going fill up.
Oh.
So, all right. I think we can call this one Batman wins.
Woo!
Congratulations, Superpower Review. Thank you so much for joining me. You are a very good opponent.
Thank you for having me.
The arguments I was planning on, so half of my arguments were invalid unless I brought them up against myself. Well, you might have this, even though you didn't bring it up, but I have this. Well, thank you for pointing that out.
There you go. Nice.
So I was like, okay, well, that's fine. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. So I had a great time.
Me too. Thank you.
Yep. I had it all set up going, well, Batman might have his armor, but according to that Batwoman TV show, there's always a little weapon out there that can defeat it. See?
You know what we need to do here is we need to contact the people who do the Superpower Beatdown. Is that channel? And we need to have them do a video with Batman versus the Punisher. I know that they've done 2 videos. 2 videos that I'm talking about. Where I'm sorry, the Punisher goes up against Red Hood, and I think the Punisher ended up winning in that video.
Yeah, there is a video. I'll put the link to the video in the description. I looked it up and I watched it, going, this is because this has exactly what I need for my research. It's called Batman versus Punisher. Who wins? The channel is Danco, DANCO, capital D and C, and it talked about that thing. It talked about in the real world, it's the Punisher that will definitely win. These 2 fighting styles, guns and military weapons and things like that. In comic books, Batman wins. But he also talked about that in the long term, if the things drew out, it would be Punisher who wins. So I was kind of borrowing on his argument here. And like I said, I will put the video in the description so you can watch it. It's about
I would want to watch that. Yeah,
it's 10 minutes long and all that. It goes into detail on both sides. In fact, watching it, you'll see where I got a lot of my argument from, because I'm going, this is exactly what I need. It's Batman versus Punisher. It's feeding me what I need. so
speaking of the Punisher, do you have an ASM 129?
just where is it? Hold on.
Ah, he does. He does have it.
Well, yes and no. It's a reprint. It's a Marvel
That's
Milestone
cool.
edition. You know, I don't have the original just yet.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm more concerned right now at filling out my ASM collection than getting every single issue 100% first print accurate. Now, once I have every single ASM issue, the next phase is to upgrade. So all my reprints will be replaced with originals. So
how many books do you need left to finish the whole ASM run?
I think after the last few days, I tipped over 500 issues owned. I think.
Wow, 500 issues owned.
Yeah, I think I did it. 'Cause I think I had
Wow.
300 and 390 something left to get. No, I don't know, I forget the math, but I'm was 58%. Yeah, I believe I was 58, 56% complete, and that's it. That's counting reprints. You know, complete of my ASM collection.
That's impressive. That's
Yeah.
very impressive. Now,
No,
of course, I watch your channel every time you upload an unboxing, and every time I get notified, I'm like, oh, what did he get now? Like, and I get, even when I'm watching you, you know, and this is not just you, this is for the community too, but I just know how much you love Spider-Man and Superman, and you know, I can relate to you because I love Spider-Man. But you know, watching your unboxings are so much fun because I really love to see how excited you get when you get your books.
Yeah.
And it just makes me excited too. And then, like, you know, you get so happy, and like, you know, I'll watch you and I'll be smiling, you know what I mean? This is great to see. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I'm sitting here going like, yes, yes. Well, I'm sitting here going with one of them. I'm going like, yeah. You know, like one of the, there's a video I have dropping tomorrow, where I did my first Funko Pop haul. You know, I didn't plan on it. I didn't want to get into Funko Pops, but I kind of tripped into it a little bit.
Yeah, it's just one of those hobbies that you just kind of like dipped your water in, and then you went like right into the deep end somehow.
I'm still waiting there. I'm getting Funko Pops so that way I can be able to, because I like getting on Discovery's, you know, thing, during Instagram tag of the day, and he's being very stingy with his comic book and Funko Pops. So I have to keep up. You know, if I want to make an appearances, damn it, I have to have a Funko Pop too. So he's being very unreasonable. He's being prejudiced towards people who just had comic books. So
I don't have too many Funko Pops. I do have a few, and I keep them all at the studio where I record the show. So like I'm not like constantly like bringing things like back and forth, you know, from home into the show. But I just keep them there. But there will be like a rare occasion when I pick up a pop. I think the last pop I ever picked up was a Batman Who Laughs, and that was like months and months ago.
Yeah. Yeah, so I spelled it wrong. I said you say. But yeah, so it's one of the things. So I have that video dropping tomorrow. Plus, it's a new intro for my channel. You know, the current one was designed by Weapon X and all that. But I had an idea because I wanted, you know, like because I just was watching a TV show and all that. You know, in the intros that they have is always videos, not pictures, and all that. I'm thinking, I had an idea, and I'm going to see if it works. And I discovered it could work, so I started designing something up myself. So I like how I like how it turns out. Although I might have to tweak it a little bit because I started making it before I had the Funko Pop haul that I got, where I more than doubled my collection. But so I might have to do a little bit of editing and put Funko Pops in there as well, just to, you know, it's like, here you go, here's one.
Yeah, just to throw it in there. Just throwing it in there. There's Funko Pops in here too.
Here's the complimentary Funko Pop, just to be inclusive.
What's that one? Is that
This is my Spider-Man upgraded suit from Far From Home.
Cool.
You know, because I had 6 originally, 2 Spider-Man, his first appearance and that one. 2 Stan Lee, Winter Soldier, and the one who just looked like a bronze statue. Then I had my favorite football player when that Funko Pop came in my LCS. I had to buy it. It's a Denver Broncos player. And then it was another one was Thanos. So I had 6.
Cool.
And then, like I said, I got a haul of 9. So more than, like I said, more than double that. So, but yeah, this has been a lot of fun. We've been on for 50 minutes now. We've had a lot to say. Apparently, all my supporters on JB's channel that said Punisher couldn't be bothered to show up. Breaks my heart. We're the support guys, just saying. When I needed you, where were you? Like, we're going to war!
We're going to war, people. I need you here. I need the bodies.
For Punisher! Guys! Cowards! Apparently they saw the pointy ears and didn't like the, apparently
see they saw the Batman ears in the shadows and they scurried away, man. They were like, no, I ain't dealing with this. Bye.
Maybe if Punisher went, come on guys, he would have gone for it. Anyone can lower their voice into a grunt. I'm just saying. Somehow Batman does it and he's also special.
This is true.
But apparently I got my butt handed to me again, so apparently I need to argue Spider-Man for people to actually support me.
Have you haven't done Spider-Man yet, have you?
That was the first episode.
Okay. That was with Matt, right?
Yeah. Amazing Spider-Man versus Superior Spider-Man.
Yes, okay, I remember that now.
So been on 3 episodes now and lost the last 2. But yeah,
well, keep it up, man, because it's a fun series. I mean, it's fun to come on and just throw things out there. I mean, come on, this is pretty much the typical high school talk that I used to have with all my friends with comic book characters. You know what I mean? So it's kind of fun. Like, it actually kind of brought me back.
Yeah. If you're talking about this, I did it myself. So I'll to get a little bit of a closer view. But yeah,
that's cool.
It's a reversal of my logo because I wanted to wear the spider suit, and I wanted the Superman logo in the background. So
that used to be your logo too, right?
Kind of, sort of. It was mainly just Superman kind of a thing, and like I said, it's my current logo is me going like ripping the shirt open. There's Superman thing with Spider-Man looking behind me. Well, thank you. I do appreciate it. I worked very hard on it. I made one error. I flattened my head a little bit. So it's like I felt like I jumped like a little one. Web shooters out. Boom. Oh.
You just have one of those haircuts. That's all.
I don't think the buzz cut goes that flat. I'm just saying. Take a little off the top. Not that much. Ow! I went to get a haircut and I got scalped.
Ouch! Ouch!
But yeah, when it comes time for the second round, I might just end up being the referee, like on Comicgories, where, like I said, it's where it's because if you won Batman and you go up against Southern Comic Geek and one of his X-Men, say, or one of his X-Men for a fight, who win in a fight. Since you guys picked those guys to argue, I would initially want to step back and let you guys go at it.
Yeah, good idea.
But if either or, but I still like be researching both, so that way if one of you couldn't make it for the appropriate time, I could jump in and, well, here's the argument that I'd make. But that's that way we could end up with, basically, maybe we could almost end up with a finale where it's not me, but it's 2 people going at it, and then whoever wins gets, like I said, gets a $50 eBay, gift card kind of a thing, or comic of their choice that falls between this price range that I can get for them. So that was the idea. I thought of giving it some sort of prize like I would for a contest video.
I say just keep it fun. I mean, it's just fun coming on here talking about it. I say just keep it fun. You know what I mean? Well,
I'd still want to do something for the winner. After all, they came on several times and made it to the end. It's thank you for your time. Here's something for your troubles. Plus it makes it fun. It's like I said, it's like Comicgories. No one joined up with the expectation of winning 3 times and getting a prize from Matt. True. But it's still nice to win 3 times and get a prize. Although I've only won a single round in the entire time I've been on there.
Yeah, man, that show was hard, man. That show was really tough. The last time I was on there, I was actually happy to move on to the next round for the first time, because for that show I take out the whole entire comic book collection, and then like you get booted off, man, and then I'm like, well, that was fun, but now I gotta put all this stuff away.
Yeah, well, luckily I haven't had to do that yet. I'm a little more unprepared in that aspect, and so I have a narrow-minded focus of what I'm going after. You know,
Yeah.
like I might have won when I got onto the at home last time or whatever if I chose a
The
better
home edition.
because I'm one of the four that made it first. So I might have won if I had picked a better cover, because I realized in the hindsight it might not have worked out as well, because people might not be thinking the reason that I did. You know, I chose the House of X issue 1 because it said, you know, like alternate universe kind of thing. I said, well, it's alternate lives, and that would create, you know, it creates multiple. It's different. It's the same universe, but it's multiple lives. So technically, it's multiple universes.
Yeah.
So that was my argument that it could work, and apparently not enough people favored my argument. So
yeah, the last time I was on there, it got crazy. Haile, Comic Bro, ended up doing like that striptease, and then I was like, yeah, I gotta sell it, so I ended up taking my shirt off.
I was like, my eyes, my eyes. I did not sign up for Comicgories.
That was fun night. It makes fun. This whole comic book community, the YouTube comic book community, always makes it fun, man. I mean, it's always fun to join other people's shows like yours, Matt's from The Boy Who Had Seven, Burke Family 54 Comics and stuff. So, you know, we always are down to hang out, and it's so cool how open people are to, like, you know, be joined together and share the community, as opposed to this is my YouTube channel. I'm the best. I'm trying to beat this person in the community. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad there's hardly any of that in the community, so it's nice.
Yeah, I like having, you know, people coming here too. It's nice too. I mean, I like having guests on here because then it doesn't feel so it doesn't feel so more inclusive and all that. It's nice, like going, oh, my friends, because I have better friends here in this community on the other side of the screen than I do in my everyday life. I'm more of a single-minded. I'm more single-minded in how I do things. I go to work, and then after work, I'm tired, and I go home. I don't want to go anywhere else. So this is my way to join the world after getting home and not having to get out there.
Yeah, right.
Well, yeah, well, no problem. Thank you for the sub. I do appreciate it. What do you guys think about those who say indie titles have better storylines than Marvel? Do you agree? I would say from what I've heard that you do have a point, because I don't know. I think the big two guys, Marvel and DC, kind of get stagnant, I guess, maybe in what they do. They get too in a rut a little bit. In indie, you basically have to sink or swim. And if the indie books do not make a splash and do not get a following, they do not get printed anymore. So I would say you have to make the story good and keep it going to keep the book alive. That being said, I'm not much of an indie guy. I'm very, very little do I actually do. In fact, I might have a new series that I'm following, and it's an indie book. It is the Transformers versus the Terminator or whatever. It's the Dark Horse, whatever. This is the second issue. But I like the whole thing of these Skynet Terminators versus the Transformers, you know, in a robot war kind of a thing. I like that.
That's interesting.
It's very interesting. I haven't read the first issue. I only read the second because I thought, I'll give it a try. It's $4. And I thought, So I might follow it for a few more issues to see if I like it. But otherwise, I'm 98% Marvel. Started out, I was 98% DC, but then Reggie Collect's channel and his passion for Spider-Man and his sense of why he likes Spider-Man and how I can relate, and I related to Spider-Man as an adult versus Superman and all that, and I slipped into Marvel and slipped into Amazing Spider-Man, and it's been gung-ho ever since. So,
how long you been collecting for now, Matt?
I think the end of August will be 2 years. So, like I said, when I go into something, I go gung-ho and all that, because like I said, I've gotten 68% of a run in 2 years. Or
wow,
no, 58%. So it's like, yeah, of course, I'm getting books that are I'm not going after like just recently I got 18 books from my comic shop for 50 some bucks, I think 40 some 50 some bucks, and it's basically $2 to $3.40 per book. Fine books and like that, good enough, good condition, but not peak if it was offered. But that way I got 18 books at $2 to $3 a book, and it filled in a gap like that. I got 58 books from Mr. Gretzky, and a lot of them were the 100, 200 ASM books, and they basically turned out to like 58 cents a book. What I paid him, for the books I got was basically that first book was 58 cents a book. So
Wow.
I found the right deals in bulk that filled in huge runs.
Man, 2 years, you did some work, man. I think I got back into collecting. I think it was 2015, and I don't have that. I don't even have that many books. My collection is very, very small.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but I also don't have a whole bunch of room either, so I can't keep everything.
Well, that's my dilemma too, because technically I have my comic book room, office, library, study here. I can't and don't want to branch out to take up any room in the house because we don't know how to simplify very much. We kind of have a lot of stuff regardless, so I can't really branch out, but I can make or whatever. So I basically turned my closet in here into a almost half is basically a complete 12 long boxes and a comic book drawer, the thing I built myself.
I think I've seen the drawer. Yeah, I've seen that. That's cool.
Yeah, for $500, I built basically 12 long boxes into my here, and plus I have simplified it. I've sold some books and whatever, gone through things, going, you know what? I really don't need this Silver Surfer, this one. I like this cover. I like this cover. I like this one because I have some for this reason. So I had 20 Silver Surfer books, and I whittled it down to 5. And then whatever. So I started. So I get excited, and I buy a lot of everything, and then I whittle it down to sell, expand here, and sell some, expand. And so I'm slowly growing out, but I'm still managing to condense as well.
Yeah, when it comes to buying stuff, like as soon as I'm done reading the book, like it's determined whether if it's staying or going.
Yeah, that's true. But like I said, if I ultimately here I have the certain titles I'm collecting here. So Amazing Spider-Man, without a doubt, and a few other titles like I'm not actively going after Superman because, like I said, I switched in my passion. But I will buy a Superman book now and then, and I do still buy the Superman and Action comic books as it come out. Although I have debated if I want to continue regularly buying or if I want to just pick up the keys and all that. Like I said, Superman's still important. It was important to me as a child, and Superman Action comic book was my very first comic book that I bought and got me into the hobby. But it's also not what means the most to me anymore. What got me into the hobby is not what drives me anymore.
Right.
So it was the spark, but not the fire. So
very cool.
Yeah. Well, it's been over an hour now. I have other things I should do in the household. So why don't we say we end this? So
sure.
Do you have videos you want to shout out real quick or anything you want to say? I can let.
Sure. So I've been doing a weekly live stream on my channel that comes on Mondays. The time is to be determined because I'm not back to work regularly. It's very weird hours right now. So if you subscribe to my channel, if you click that bell notification, you'll always know when that live stream happens. I did upload a video today of 5 fan favorite story arcs that I've never read before. Maybe you have read them. Let me know in the comment section if you have. And then also, I have a video on my channel called "I Got You a Gift," and I did. Matt, did you hear about the gift that I got you? This is ultimately the 2,000 subscriber giveaway grand prize. The channel is close to 1,500, and once my channel reaches 1,500 subscribers, I'm going to unbox the gift, show you guys what it is, And then as soon as the channel reaches 2,000 subscribers, I'll let you guys know on what you need to do in order to win the gift. So that's it.
Awesome. We'll send a few guys my way. Give me a good word. I'm trying to get that. I'm trying to crack 500 right now. I've been gaining 3 and losing 3 for the past.
That happens a lot, though.
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
I'm stuck right here at 4. Was it 439 or so right now? I mean, I'm not stuck. I'm not likely, but not like it's probably. But anyway, I appreciate everyone who supports me and all that. It's like, come on, I know you can do it. Inch up. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, I have a video coming out tomorrow, like I said, where I reveal my first Funko Pop haul, where it's just Funko Pops, no comic books, although I do show comic books in it, but it's no comic books that I bought. It's mainly just goes, this Funko Pop goes with this comic. They go together. Look at that. But
hey, hashtag comic in a fig. That's a thing on Instagram. So
yeah, and then I have a new introduction going out with that video. So there, like I say, what you saw at the beginning of this episode is my old one designed by Weapon X. I appreciate him, and I will still keep the file, and I might switch them back now and then. But this one I designed completely on my own, based on inspiration that I had. So I look forward to people's feedback, on that. So I'm really excited. So let's go ahead and sign off. Thank you everyone for joining us. Happy collecting, and see you guys next time for episode 4 of the Knockout, where I'll have a new guest and a new pairing. So see you guys later. Happy collecting.
bye.